With a news update on WHTC Holland's Cool FM, I'm Gary Stevens. What was described by the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office as a critical incident in the far northeast corner of the county last evening ended peacefully with 3 persons safely rescued and a 21-year-old man in custody. According to Sheriff's Detective Captain Jake Sparks, deputies were dispatched at 4:37 p.m. to a residence at the end of Sherman Boulevard, east of Ravenna and near Crockery Creek, on a report of a domestic assault. They arrived to find a man armed with a long gun, with a shot being fired. A 22-year-old pregnant woman, along with her 18-month-old infant, and another 59-year-old woman were inside. Members of the Sheriff's Office Critical Response Team, including crisis negotiators, along with Muskegon County Sheriff's deputies, state police troopers, and crews from several area fire agencies, descended on the scene. Ottawa County Sheriff Eric DeBoer.
For a long time, police were just enforcement. And so we were using enforcement against something that could have just been mental illness. We've been finding in the last years that there's a certain aspect of these calls that maybe it's not criminal intent so much as mental health.
And about an hour and a half later, the 2 women and the child were safely taken out of the residence, with one of the persons treated for non-life-threatening injuries, but the suspect had apparently fled. Nearby residents were asked to avoid the area and stay sheltered in place while the search for the man took place. Shortly after 8 p.m., the suspect was spotted running at an undisclosed location several miles away, and Muskegon County deputies were able to then apprehend him without further incident. He was taken to the Ottawa County Jail and awaits arraignment on several charges in 58th District Court. No other persons were injured, no names were disclosed. The incident remains under investigation. It was a pretty eventful Tuesday evening in Zeeland Township. During that municipality's biweekly Board of Trustees meeting, members first went behind closed doors to discuss legal action dealing with a proposed 250-megawatt Silver Maple Solar Farm project, which would encompass over 1,900 acres across both Zeeland and Jamestown townships. Afterwards, Clerk Brian Van Dussen and his colleagues unanimously supported litigation the township had filed earlier in the day in 20th Circuit Court against RWE Americas, challenging the constitutionality of State Public Act 233, which preempts local control over the regulation of wind, solar, and energy storage facilities.
As a board, we need to solidify our agreement with everything that's been going on and to show the public that we are fully engaged and be supportive. There's a lot of things obviously we can't say pending litigation, but this will show the public that we stand united on this front.
The board subsequently accepted the resignation of Superintendent Josh Eggleston, who earlier in the day accepted a contract to become the new manager of Holland Township, effective on August 24th. He had only been in Zeeland Township for the past 2 years, following a 6-year stint as Wayland's city manager.
I just want to say thank you to the board, thank you to the support I've had, thank you to the residents. Obviously being the first manager is not an easy road to hoe at times, but this is bittersweet. I have enjoyed my time here, and I want to continue to enjoy the last month or so.
Eggleston will be joined by Supervisor Kerry Bosma and Trustee Dave Berry and a transition team to go over the criteria for an interim superintendent. Details expected during the board's next meeting on July 21st. It's an update Wednesday night for the Holland City Council. During the 6 p.m. biweekly study session, the governing panel will go over the city's long-standing partnership with Travis Williams and the ODC Network.
As we make decisions on building developments, we need to be more thoughtful about how we do it. Native landscaping, water-smart landscaping, things like that are really important, and that's why ODC has an entire team of people that actually manage it. We have a group called the ODC Conservation Services that literally does that work, and there's a way to coexist with our environment, and we love to help people make that happen.
Municipal leaders will also get an annual investor update from Lakeshore Advantage, the economic development agency, which is going through some leadership changes with last Wednesday's resignation of longtime president Jennifer Owens. She's returning to Kalamazoo-based Southwest Michigan First as its new CEO. The Holland City Council study session is at the second-floor training room of Holland City Hall off of River Avenue. The search continues for a hit-and-run driver who caused significant injuries to a bicyclist in Hopkins nearly 2 weeks ago. The incident occurred around 9:15 p.m. on June 25th when the biker was pedaling on 130th Avenue and was struck by what a witness says was a white-colored, full-size van who drove off westbound. The Allegan County Sheriff's Office didn't disclose the name, age, or extent of the injuries sustained by the cyclist. It is believed that the suspect vehicle was a General Motors product from about 20 years ago, in the range between 2003 to 2007. It was either a Chevrolet Express van or a GMC Savannah van. Deputies suspect that there would be passenger side damage and possibly front end damage sustained in the collision. Anyone with any information has to contact the two deputies directly involved in the case with their email addresses in this story at WHTC.com. The Ionia County Health Department has confirmed 6 cases of cyclosporiasis. The State Department of Health and Human Services says the number of cases in Ionia County to them is at 7, and the county health officials say there's another couple of suspected cases. The intestinal illness caused explosive diarrhea. 700 cases have been confirmed in the state as of Monday. 36 people have been hospitalized. The majority of those cases have been in southeast Michigan. A specific source for cyclosporiasis hasn't yet been identified. Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety Chief David Boyson says a community event held at Spring Valley Park on June 28th called Sunday Fun Day was mishandled by his officers. Public safety officers cleared the park and shut down the event, calling it a nuisance party, resulted in a lot of public comment at Monday night's City Commission meeting, dominated by attendees saying that the officers were wrong. Boyson says officers should have handled it as a violation of park rules instead and not cleared the park. There was one group of people playing music refused to cooperate with authorities. Authorities were seen carrying cans of MK9. That's a pepper spray, but it was not dispensed. Vice Mayor Drew Junkin says the response by the officers was, to him, revolting. State police have not made any arrests yet in the death of a baby found in a porta potty at the Electric Forest Festival in Rothbury. An autopsy on the infant found that the child was full term and born alive, fluid in the lungs and stomach. Employee for the portable toilet vendor found the baby on June 28th. Its umbilical cord and placenta were also present. Tens of thousands of people attended the annual music festival at the Double J Resort. West Michigan native Marshawn Nealon has been diagnosed posthumously with stage 1 CTE.
The former Dallas Cowboys and Western Michigan University defensive end killed himself in November at the age of 24. Nealon's family donated his brain for research by the Boston University CTE Center. The disease can only be diagnosed after death. CTE has 4 stages. Center Director Dr. Ann McKee says the result wasn't surprising because CTE has been found in more than half of the athletes they've studied who have died before reaching 30. I'm Michael Arning.
Detroit area Congresswoman Haley Stevens and former state health official Abdul El Sayed met for a televised debate last night. State Senator Mallory McMorrow's exit from the U.S. Senate Democratic primary race last week has created a direct contest between the party's moderate and progressive sides. The race is entering its final stretch, with the moderate Stevens being backed by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and the progressive El Sayed receiving support from Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, the winner of the August 4th Democratic primary should face former Republican Congressman Mike Rogers in November. State House Speaker Matt Hall defending the move to take a $20 million line item from the RX Kids program and put the money into specific areas and temporary assistance for needy families. The Richland Republican says RX Kids received $250 million in state funding last year. He hoped they would use that money before trying to get more funds from TANF. Hall said the issue was one of the last pieces of the budget negotiation that was settled, arguing the money should be used for other TANF programs with eligibility requirements such as WIC, Child Protective Services, and cash assistance.
We need programs that are really looking at people with a legitimate financial need, people that are American citizens or here legally, and ensuring that they're getting the things they need to live healthy and to get back on their feet.
RX Kids gives pregnant women $1,500 and $500 a month for either the first 6 or 12 months of their child's life. A Senate bill is now before Governor Whitmer that would enhance security for the Mackinac Bridge, designating the span as a key facility and adding strengthened protections similar to oil refineries, chemical facilities, electric facilities, and other locations that pose a public threat from any unauthorized access. State Department of Transportation, along with the Mackinac Bridge Authority, supported the bill. A jury in Mecosta County has acquitted a Michigan Department of Natural Resources conservation officer in a campground shooting about 3 years ago. Ryan Cox was charged in December of 2023 by State Attorney General Dana Nessel of assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder. That's a 10-year felony in the shooting that wounded one person at the Merrill County Park in Barrington. Cox intervened in a verbal and physical fight involving a man and other campers, identified himself as a DNR officer before firing several shots, and the DNR is working to restore the member, Cox, to active duty. Tarek Skubal scattered 5 hits with 9 strikeouts over 5 innings as the Tigers took out the visiting Athletics last night 6-2.
I think I counted 20 non-competitive pitches today, and that's a high percentage of my outing there. So, part of it's a good lineup. Another part of it is just I kind of sprayed the ball a little bit, especially with fastballs and some changeups too. So, I don't think it was my best showing by any means, but yeah.
The series at Comerica Park in Detroit continues this evening with coverage from Dan Dickerson at 6:15 p.m. on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Matthew Boyd gave up 3 hits with 7 strikeouts over 6 innings as the Chicago Cubs prevailed over the Orioles in Baltimore last night 5-2.
It was a good game. Mickey was awesome behind the plate. He called a great game. We played great defense. Bolbin came in, did a great job, and it was a good win.
The series at Oriole Park in Camden Yards continues this evening. Peyton Toll surrendered 2 hits with 6 strikeouts over 6 innings as the visiting Boston Red Sox defeated the White Sox last night 8-1.
It's been good. I think, just have confidence in ourselves that we know the abilities that we have and just go out there and do it.
The series at Wright Field in Chicago continues this evening. 5 West Michigan pitchers teamed to allow 4 hits with 6 strikeouts as the Whitecaps whitewashed the visiting Fort Wayne Tin Caps yesterday 3-0. The series at LMCU Ballpark in Comstock Park continues this evening. Get the latest news anytime at WHTC.com.